The Democratic National Committee protested President Trump's plans to accept a $400 million luxury jet from Qatar by flying a banner over Mar-a-Lago reading Qatar-a-Lago. It's the kind of hilarious stunt that makes you realize why the Democrats will never
Let's be very clear. The government of Qatar, the Qatari family, has offered to donate this plane to the United States Air Force, where that donation will be accepted according to all legal and ethical obligations. It will be retrofitted to the highest of standards by the Department of Defense and the United States.
You know, a roast is brutal when the studio audience gasps, the host looks like they want to disappear, and the cameraman forgets to blink. That's exactly what happened when Colin Jost dropped that joke about Trump and Karoline Leavitt. Did he cross the line? Did he say what everyone was thinking? And who took the insult the worst? By the time we're done, you'll want to replay every second. Trust me.
A pharmaceutical executive collapsed in the Oval Office on Thursday. And speaking of pharmaceuticals, whatever they've got Trump on, I want some. Because just look how chill he is during all of this. He's just standing.
A detailed readout of that physical, and I would encourage you back to that. Presidents and I don't know the exact imaging that took place, but as the physician's note said, the president is in incredibly good shape, and I think that's evidenced here.
Then it happened, a joke so casually dropped, so effortlessly crafted, it may as well have been delivered while sipping herbal tea. The room froze for a split second, the way people freeze when they accidentally reply, "all." And then came the laughter, the uncontrollable burst out. Did he really just say that kind of laughter that rolls like thunder?
House Democrats released an email written by Jeffrey Epstein in which he claims that Donald Trump, quote, knew about the girls. It's bombshell news that legal experts are calling duh. This week's Epstein documents are obviously very dark and disturbing, but I also think it's kind of adorable that Epstein's email address was jeevacation@gmail. It's like if Jeffrey Dahmer's was dinnertime Jeff.
The target, Trump, of course. A man who has survived scandals, rants, lawsuits, and spray-tan tragedies that will be studied by historians centuries from now. A man who has shattered the record for confidence per minute. A man who can walk into a room and automatically make the oxygen nervous. But on this night, the indestructible wasn't just dented. The comedic hammer came down and Colin Jost swung it like Thor after tax season.
Well, this week the government finally represented the people when it just completely shut down. Honestly, didn't it feel like the government kind of needed a break just so we could all catch our breath? Can you believe we're only 9 months into this presidency? That means we still have 3 months and 7 years remaining.
Every time Trump's name was mentioned, the audience braced themselves. They knew the next line would land like when your phone autocorrects hi to I hate you. Cameras cut to toothy grins, shocked gasps, and pure disbelief. Even the lighting looked embarrassed for a moment. Colin wasn't angry. This wasn't performance. It was an intervention wrapped in glitter and sarcasm.
I just have to say, you know, in general, I don't really believe in conspiracies because as a member of the Illuminati, I know that we, the lizard people, control everything. And it's really hard to believe that Trump was so oblivious that he didn't notice his good friend was running an international pedophile ring. Though I guess Trump is the one guy on earth who thinks YMCA is a straight end.
And just when you'd think the heat couldn't be turned higher, enter Karoline Leavitt. She stepped into the comedy blast radius unintentionally, the way someone does when they confidently try to push a pole door. Colin turned toward the subject with the precision of a surgeon who decided anesthesia is optional for dramatic effect. There was no warm-up, no buffer zone, no easing in.
In this room want to talk about the president's response, but not what brought the president to responding in this way. You have sitting members of the United States Congress who conspired together to orchestrate a video message to members of the United States military, to active duty service members, to members of the national security apparatus, encouraging them to defy the president's lawful.
President Trump also spoke to a group of military leaders this week, and at one point, he went on a long rant about how good Barack Obama was at walking downstairs. Here's what he said. I'm not going to read it because it's a crazy thing to hear from a president, but it's actually kind of fun from anyone else. Let me show you what I mean in our new segment. President Trump would make a lot more sense if he sounded like Jennifer Coolidge.
Karoline's expression instantly turned into the human version of a loading symbol. You could practically hear the Windows error tone faintly echoing behind her. There was that attempt to maintain composure, the instinctive political reflex to smile through the pain, but the smile shook like it was running on dial-up internet in 2025. The camera tried to be respectful, but couldn't look away. The same way people can't avoid watching a Jenga tower right before it collapses. Colin moved back to Trump, then to Karoline, then back again, not with aggression, but with the leisurely pace of someone strolling through a park. Feeding ducks made of pure chaos. Every line landed, and instead of dust settling, it seemed like more dust appeared. Trump has been roasted before. Roasted by comedians, reporters, rally hecklers, late-night hosts, family holidays, random grocery store customers, and probably even a GPS at some point. But this time, it hit differently. The delivery wasn't loud, dramatic, or theatrical. It wasn't heated. It wasn't frantic. It was surgical mockery coated in politeness, which somehow makes it 10,000 times worse.
Well, America elected Donald Trump to run the country like a business, but it turns out he's running it like one of his businesses. I love that you can intentionally ruin the economy and still get to stay president. It's like if you drunk drove your car through the window of the DMV and they were like, license renewed. It's insane. This was the worst week for the stock market since the summer of 2020. But you have to remember, back then, the president was...
The audience wasn't just laughing. They were malfunctioning. People were clapping, wheezing, bending forward, rocking backward, stomping, trying to breathe. It looked like a yoga class taught by someone who has never seen yoga. Even the band seemed unprepared. You know, a roast is legendary when a trombone can't get its life together. Meanwhile, Karoline attempted to maintain a TV-ready smile. The kind of smile used by people who realize their mic is still on after trash talking in the whole studio. It was a comedic aftershock event like laughing trauma. And the wildest part is that Colin didn't stop to enjoy the reaction. No basking in the applause, no dramatic victory stance, no celebration. He moved on with the calm indifference of someone deciding whether or not to upgrade their phone storage. The roast was over, yet somehow not even close to over. The crowd replayed the punchlines in their heads. You could see delayed reactions spreading through the audience like a meme going viral in slow motion. One corner laughed seconds later, then another, forming a chain reaction of disbelief.
Ethical experts are also warning that Trump may owe political favors to countries who give him lavish gifts. But based on the way he left the Middle East, I think I know how Trump is going to pay them back.
President Trump has signed an executive order giving refugee status to white people from South Africa. I could have sworn that white people had it good in South Africa. Must be the men.
Trump's team probably started typing statements before the broadcast even ended. Somewhere advisors were opening group chats called public damage control, probably alongside older group chats titled more damage control and stop everything, please. And Karoline, you could practically sense the PR emails forming like storm clouds. We need to clarify context. We need to clarify the clarification. We need a hyperlink. We need a distraction story about literally anything else. Trump thrives on control.
Just in the past 2 days, investors have lost over $6 trillion. Money is leaving the stock market faster than Morgan Wallen. President Trump even imposed tariffs on remote islands that are only inhabited by penguins. Well, then maybe penguins shouldn't keep pushing their gay.
That's what makes this moment historic. Not in the political sense, but in the comedic sense. It showed how pure, concentrated humor can temporarily turn the biggest personalities into tiny, powerless characters in their own cartoon. The larger-than-life suddenly feels very, very normal. The intimidating becomes adorable. The unstoppable becomes confused. The camera captures it. The internet preserves it. And memes build monuments in milliseconds. And the ripple effect didn't stop with the broadcast. Even people who don't care about politics started chiming in purely, because watching power get clowned is one of humanity's oldest sources of entertainment. Romans had the Colosseum. We have Saturday night comedy. Trump supporters type furiously. His critics type furiously. People who don't know who Karoline has learned who she is in 3 seconds, then immediately watch the clip 14 more times. The online ecosystem achieved a rare universal moment. Nobody logged off voluntarily. Karoline maintained her trademark posture in public later on attempting to project the image that nothing bothered her, nothing rattled her, nothing disrupted her political equilibrium. But the replay numbers suggested otherwise.
On Tuesday, Zohran Mamdani was elected mayor of New York City. He was elected. A lot of Sliwa fans. He was elected mayor despite his opponent Andrew Cuomo receiving endorsements from Donald Trump and Eric Adams, which is like trying to bring a girl home by saying, not to brag, but I have hepatitis B.
The meme pages suggested otherwise. The comment sections definitely suggested otherwise. When the internet senses weakness, it doesn't politely retreat. It unpacks, settles in, and starts ordering DoorDash. Trump, on the other hand, did what Trump does best. Pretended nothing happened while simultaneously making sure everyone knew it happened. The contradiction is beautiful. Make them human. Make them wobble. No speeches, no direct quotes, no policy debates, just explosive, unstoppable effectiveness of humor. And that is why this moment is being replayed everywhere. It wasn't strategic. It wasn't planned. It wasn't campaign approved. It was organic combustion. Colin didn't have to yell. He didn't have to lecture. He didn't have to explain. His superpower was simplicity. Say something undeniable in a way the target cannot argue with without looking even worse. Humor is a trap with velvet walls. Try to escape, and it only gets more embarrassing.
President Trump traveled to the Middle East this week, and if I were him, I would have just stayed there because it looked awesome. Trump arrived in Saudi Arabia, where he was greeted with a lavender carpet which matched the color of his tie and also the length. They also rolled out a mobile McDonald's truck for President Trump's visit, featuring Saudi Arabia's most popular new burger, the McDermott.
And the thing that elevates this roast into legend is how evenly the chaos spread. Trump, the political juggernaut with the gravity of an asteroid, was reduced to silent disbelief. Karoline, the rising personality built on confidence and punchy rhetoric, suddenly looked like she was rethinking her entire software update. It takes skill to get one political titan to stumble. It takes genius to hit two of them back to back without even raising your voice. After the show ended, the online battlefield raged on. Clips in HD, clips with subtitles, clips edited into animations, clips turned into TikTok musicals. People didn't just react, they curated, remixed, repackaged, and redistributed. And every reaction fueled another one. And that's the beautiful savage cycle of humor. Sometimes the most powerful figures on the planet get humbled not by scandal, not by investigations, not by elections, not by courts, but by jokes. Jokes that grip the audience, blow up the internet, and slice through ego faster than any headline ever could. Colin Jost didn't simply roast Trump and Karoline Leavitt. He reminded the world of something important. Politics isn't always about seriousness, strategy, or speeches. Sometimes it's about laughter, uncontrollable, unstoppable laughter that makes the mighty look ridiculous and the ordinary feel powerful. And no matter how many statements, interviews, tweets, speeches, or press releases get launched after this moment, the comedy remains. Even if every trace of the broadcast is someday deleted, the internet has already immortalized it. Trump may move on, Karoline may move on, but meme history has claimed them forever.
A prominent white nationalist has begun posting manifestos online. Oh, I'm sorry, that was the sub-headline. The headline was, Donald Trump launches new blog. That's right, disgraced former fast food spokesman Donald Trump has launched a website called From the Desk of Donald J. Trump, though a more accurate name would be From the Brain Fog of Long-Haul COVID.
The legacy of this roast isn't controversy. It isn't politics. It isn't sides. It's the undeniable satisfaction of watching someone swing a comedy hammer so perfectly, so precisely, so unexpectedly that the audience collectively ascends. No intro needed. No outro needed. Just the echo of laughter still circling the globe and the knowledge that somewhere right now another person is watching that clip for the very first time and losing it. And the ripple isn't slowing down. Trump has likely moved on to louder stages and bigger spotlights, pretending the comedic meteor strike never landed. Karoline continues her marathon of confidence, insisting absolutely everything is under control, even though the internet is still replaying her expression like a looping GIF with endless stamina. But the beauty of this whole event is that it doesn't need their participation anymore. The audience took the wheel, the clip drove itself, and the meme factory worked unpaid overtime. Comedy hit the switch, the lights turned on, and the world watched two political titans become unwilling sitcom characters. The moment doesn't fade. It lingers, floats, glows. A reminder that sometimes the most unforgettable punch in politics doesn't come from power.